everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jacobs Show.
You're watching Kim Jacobs Show.
All right, everyone. Hello, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Okay, welcome, Dr. Stacey Lang. How are you today?
I am absolutely fabulous, Kim. So happy to be here.
We're so glad to have you here today. Listen, as everyone's grabbing their virtual seats today, I am actually going to be in the interviewee seat. So let me put Dr. Stacey Lang over here in the host seat today, and I'm going to be being interviewed by her. So I just want everybody today to glean hope and just have the most positive outcome in life for this life that we have. So I think it's better. I'm just gonna let you interview me, Dr. Stacey, and we'll go from there. Welcome.
What an honor it is and a privilege to be able to come on the Kim Jacobs Show and actually interview the Kim Jacobs. So I'm super excited to be talking with the Balance Doctor today. So one of the topics we're really going to go into today is life after loss. So we're going to ask our audience, your listening audience, to put in any losses they have experienced, how they handled it, what happened with life after loss. Oftentimes, Kim, people experience loss, and when we say that, we think of death, but there are other losses like divorce, job, limbs. I've had people who have lost legs and arms and been to the military, PTSD, memory, and a lot of pain there. Can you relate to that?
Absolutely. Yes, I do agree. Well, I do agree that there are different types of losses. I definitely do not compare the loss of my child to the loss of a relationship or a loss of other aspects of my life, because it's very different from my perspective. But I do think that they're all different types of loss, and it causes us to grieve when we experience and encounter those types of losses in our lives. And I think it's really relative for the person and whatever it is that person is going through at that phase of their lives. I can only speak personally whenever I talk about things. So my experiences are my experiences, and other people's experiences are theirs, you know?
So when you said grieve, now a lot of people say they go through these stages of grief, right? And they cycle back and forth, but we don't talk about mourning. What do you understand grief to be?
For me, what grief is whenever I know that the thing that I've had is no longer going to be here in that form anymore, even though it's something that I've embraced, enjoyed, had as a beautiful moment in my life. And now it's like, it's no longer like that anymore. No matter how I want it to be, it's never going to be the same again in that capacity, in that form, is how I would define grief. Now, from a dictionary perspective, I looked that up, but that's just my own Kim Jacobs version. Is what it was is no longer going to be.
That's a very good version. Now, some people, like you said, the ultimate loss is death for you. That's the ultimate loss. And for many of us, because we've all experienced some form of loss, and most likely, if you haven't experienced a close loved one, when you do, it's a different kind of experience. Would you agree?
Well, yeah, I do agree, but let me also put it in perspective because whenever I'm saying my personal opinion, this is only Kim's view of what I feel about loss and grief. I really, when it comes to my loved one, especially if they are doing, yes, thank you, Mackenzie, for putting that up. So the views, even expressed by me, are not necessarily the views of the show, CTR Media Network, Believe in Your Dreams, Les Brown. This is me, Kim Jacobs, my views. So thank you, Mackenzie. You could take that down. Now, I will tell you that loss from my perspective, based on my spiritual belief, is not necessarily lost like in a societal perspective. So I look at it, Dr. Stacy Lang, like, yes, I'm losing on my end because I'm not going to be able to have the type of situation that I've had over the course of the years of my life, whether it be with my dad or my grandma, my great grandma, different, my son, different people that I've loved, my friends, some of my really great friends. I'm not going to see them in that capacity here on earth, but they're not really lost, LOST, because I know where they are. So I may be experiencing loss because of the pain and the agony and the hurt, but they're not lost. I know exactly where to find them. I find them when I'll reunite with them again in heaven, from my perspective. And then
Okay.
also, I know how to tap into where they are because I believe that they're amongst the cloud of witnesses that's cheering me on and celebrating me in my life in this journey called life. So
Okay.
that's my perspective on
That's
loss.
your spiritual view. So you believe that you can tap into when you have a physical loss. Can you speak to them in the clouds? Do you get signs that they're still with you or supporting you?
You know what, I am not you know what, it's so bizarre because I'm not this person that's a mystical theory, oh, floating in the air. That's just not what I've ever thought I believed in, right? I just believe
Mhm.
in the word of God. I believe in the Bible. I try to pattern and govern myself after the that blueprint of that book for my life. And we all have books. I have like the purpose driven life. I have all kinds of books that you can see behind me that I
Mhm.
listen and I read and I get coaching tips from that I apply many of the nuggets to my life. But yes, I do believe that I get some different signs. And I'll give you one example. My sister in law recently passed away, and she's really big about this red bird, right? That's all she talked about, this red bird. And she had kind of named the bird in her housing development. She named the bird Gabe, and Gabe is in honor of my son. So every day, Gabe, in her opinion, came to visit with her, eat the bread that she gave. So since she's transitioned home herself, she had cancer and she ended up succumbing to that and went on. She said she was totally healed anyway, by the way. So she's permanently healed. But in her transitioning, right before she did that, she gave me a plate, and there's like a plate set that I have in my china cabinet. It has red birds on it. Ever since that time, Dr. Lang, I have seen nothing but red birds. Like literally every day, I see a red bird, and it's not like I just see it. It comes like almost right in front of the car, like I'm gonna hit it, or it's on the porch, or I'm like, where all these red birds come from? And so
Wow.
maybe it's just a heightened awareness. I don't know, but I believe it's a sign from God to me through my sister Ruth to say, "Hey, Gabe is watching, and so am
David,
I." That's what
with
I feel.
I think that's so important to acknowledge. Now, that is a part when you're talking about that of mourning. See, there's a difference between grief and mourning. Some people go through grief, but they grieve in strength because you really don't know what to say. You don't know how to respond to people. I've had people say, don't come and tell me it'll get better. Don't tell me time makes it better.
Mm.
Don't tell me God had a plan. He took his angel. And then there's a bitterness that comes with grief because we haven't given ourselves permission to mourn. Now, there's a difference in mourning and grief. Would you agree to that?
Absolutely. Morning is the time that you're, in my opinion, taking to be able to think about, reminisce, spend that time to say, this is what's going to be missed with that particular person or that connection, that loved one. And even celebratory mourning in some regards. It's not just all, oh my gosh, but thinking about, thinking about all kinds of things, whether it's like the funniest moment that you've had with a loved one, or the last few moments that God may have given you with that person. And
Mhm,
I'll
mhm.
give you a really silly example, really silly. But my dad, I believe it was a gift from God that he allowed me to be able to be there when he was transitioning from this earth, literally the last few breaths, when my mom and dad were divorced. So many of the years I was not around him in that regard. So I felt
Mhm.
like that was a precious gift from God to me specifically, because I always wondered how he felt about me as his daughter. I thought I knew, but I really wasn't 100% sure. And the last few breaths that he said very audibly, he said, "Kim, come here, come here, come here, come here." And he would just whisper, "Kim, come here, come here, come here." And one lady was in there. We were just having a conversation, and she was talking about how she makes this hair and it's already pre-braided. And I was like, "Girl, you got a pre-braided wig and it can look like that?" I thought that thing was slamming. You don't understand, Dr.
Mhm.
Lang.
Yes.
Even though it's a silly example I'm getting ready to give, the point is, he was like, he's on his last few breaths, and he's like, and I was like, "Yes, sir. Don't buy no hair." I was like, "What? You don't have time to be thinking about this right now. You need to be thinking about what your future, you're transitioning home." But even though that's a silly, funny moment, it was one that will stick with me that I can always go back and reminisce on. And then there was a real serious one where he also said to me, "Come here, come here." And he said, "I want you to know you'll always be my daughter.
Wow.
You'll always be my daughter." And coming from a divorced home and not having that 100% reassurance, I needed that. And that was a gift from God to me. So,
Now that is a form of loss, LOSS.
right.
And that loss, when you said coming from the broken home and remembering, I'm still your daughter, because people will lose a parent and then they think I'm a motherless child,
Right.
or I'm a motherless adult.
Right.
Or I used to have a brother or sister, or how many kids do you have? And then they have to say, do I count this one or not? Have you experienced that? Well, I have 4, but because they don't want to say I have 5, but I lost one, because that's
Yeah.
a conversation that sometimes they fear people aren't ready for.
Yeah,
Does that?
that's a good question. Is it a question you're asking me, or
Yes, because sometimes people can't acknowledge the loss for fear of the conversation that comes after the acknowledgement.
I'm glad you're saying that, Dr. Lang, because I have 5 children, and yes, I do get that sometimes where people will say, "Oh, so I see you have 4 children," and I don't have to go through a whole dissertation about it or anything, but I do say, "No, I'm a mother of 5. And just one of my children lives in heaven," and I'll just quickly address it and I move on, because Gabriel is a part of my life forever. So it's not like because he's no longer here on this earth that he's not still one of my children. So in every aspect, I include him in every aspect of my life. When I'm talking about my other 4 children, which are my very important 4 children, I talk about them, and I talk about my very important 5th child too. That's permanently my child. He's still my son. And
Yes.
yes, I do include him, and I don't justify it or anything. I just say, when I sign birthday cards, I sign it with all of my children's names on it, and I just said Gabe dash from heaven. I don't
Oh,
I I
beautiful.
don't I don't I don't discard him or exclude him as if he's not a part of our lives. And some people get, like, well, that's kind of bizarre, but it's not for me to have to worry about what other people think one way or the other. He's a
Uh-huh.
part of my life forever.
Now, that is what you call a great way of mourning. Also, mourning is celebration, recognition. It is being able to express in the loss, because some people don't, they're not able to express. I've worked with people that literally are in the grocery store and all of a sudden they're just crying and they don't know why they're crying. Tears are just running down their face. And it's because the morning will come, excuse me,
On the Kim Jacobs show, you can drink some water and tea and
I have a little
everything.
water here. Okay.
Even though I'm actually being the interviewee today, you feel free to hydrate. It's okay. It's how we balance our lives, you know?
Perfect balance is phenomenal. Mourning is a part of that balance.
Yeah.
So being able to let it come to the surface when it surfaces. When I had a loss, when I cared for my mom for 9 months, when she transitioned, that's an anchor. So acknowledging that you lost an anchor in your life.
Yes.
But on the flip side, to lose a child in our society, we believe a parent never wants to bury a child.
No.
That is the ultimate in our culture of grief and loss, is to have to bury a child. However, in this process, how do you care for you to become a different person? Because life is different now. You got to do something different, because with every loss, you morph into someone else.
Yeah, I think as a mom that has had a child that walked around on this earth for 12 years, he was the bill of health, 5'10". I'll just show you a couple of pictures. This is him. He's taller than I am.
Yes.
He was 5'10", wearing a size 13 grown man shoe. He's like the bill of health. This is a week before he transitioned to be with the Lord right here. And you could not tell Gabe that he was not going to be an NFL football player. He played in the National Football Playoffs and love the Lord. Every time he got a chance to take a picture or something, his hands was raised to God. He was saying prayers. They called him Deacon Gabe in church and Diesel on the football field. I never knew that, and this is an example right here, actually, of how we may continue to go on in our lives, but we always infuse Gabe somewhere in there. If you see a picture of me or see a picture of the family in some regard, Gabe is always going to be featured in there. So thank you, Mackenzie, for popping those up. But let me just talk about this.
Yes.
No parent that I know, I can't speak about any other parents. I can speak about me. My child never stayed at people's houses, friends, and he's grandma or somebody, but I always was like, not like just trying to be so super protective, but just, you have siblings, play here. Just go and have your friends come over. I'll make some extra food or whatever. But I never ever envisioned in my mind that there was even a possibility that he could not be on this earth. So nobody has the thought, unless you have a child that is living maybe with some kind of terminal illness, and you're being told that this is going to happen by this day and this time. No parent is expecting that their child is not going to outlive them. Every parent thinks that the child is going to be here way beyond me. So when a situation happens where your child is there that day and that night he's no longer going to be
Tell us about that situation. How did you find out? How did it happen?
Okay. I want to make sure I'm trying to stay focused during this hour, but not take it too far south or too far. On April 9th, well, I have to go back to April 8th because that is such an important part of my story anyway. Wednesday night, April 8th, was a Bible study at our church. And one of the topics that we talked about that night was suicide. And I stood up and I said, no matter what anybody tells you, if I ever be said that I committed suicide, they lied, investigated, it's not the truth. I would not do that. And I still today would not do that. So it's not like it's changed or anything in that regard. But the next day, April 9th, when Gabriel, he told us, hey, we have this new basketball hoop in our backyard. We have been to the National Football Playoffs in Florida, and he had played, they ranked number 4 with the Northeast Dolphins, which was a community league. Coach Osai Kenny was actually the person that was coaching it. They did a phenomenal job. We went on a family vacation and we just had a great run of like really at this point, which I realize now was like our last family hoorah, you know, but I
Wow.
didn't know that at the time. We had taken an extra week and went on an extra special vacation in Pennsylvania at a resort. Gabe was eating, had the butler service, so he was eating all these cookies. And I was like, what in the world? You cannot keep the butlers coming at that level or whatever. But come April 9th, him and his dad and his brothers played a game of basketball.
At
And
home with
at
the court.
home, at home, in a new basketball hoop that we had just had installed. And so I took my daughter, Jayla, and went over to the nursing home with my grandma, 96 years old. We went to go visit her. So we would kind of be out of the way so the boys could have their own game of basketball. Go on to say that they start playing this game of basketball, and my son calls me and he's like, Mom, he said, Gabe's not breathing. Gabe's not breathing. And I was like, that's not even something I can even process. What do you mean he's not breathing? So of course I get in the car, I run through every light. So sometimes, let me say this too. You may see people that are speeding through lights and stuff. I always give grace and mercy in those situations because I don't know what they're rushing to. Because
Yeah.
I literally hopped the medians. I ran between cars and did everything I could to get to where Gabe was. When I arrived home, he was being worked on by not just the paramedics at that time, but by my neighbors, some of which were physicians, and their spouses came running over, doing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, doing everything they could to try to help, like as if Gabe was their own child. So in the midst of all of that, the ambulance paramedics came. We jumped in the car. I turned around. I said, listen, do not stop working under any circumstances. These people worked, I'm saying they were like drenched with sweat. So every EMS driver, paramedic, I salute you because I can see and feel that these people are giving it their all. These people gave it their all, their whole existence, their being. They gave it to my son. They were pumping and trying and doing everything they could. But what ultimately, what Frank said was that Gabe looked up as if somebody called his name and he just laid down. He just laid down. I never, Dr. Lang, when I went into that hospital room that night, first of all, the minute I arrived, I told the doctor, I need to talk to you urgently before you do anything. My son, they said, is having some kind of heart issue. Take my heart. Take my heart. Perform open heart surgery on me. Take my heart and give it to my son. Do not let my child die. Don't let my child die tonight. Whenever there's a beating heart here, and he can survive and have a full life. So I volunteered to be an organ donor for my child because I wanted to let him live. And I knew that meant that I would have to die.
Yes.
And that's okay. But they wouldn't allow that to happen. I was like, well, I don't get why you won't let it happen whenever we allow people to be organ donors. But I guess it's after they've already passed. I don't know. It probably sounded crazy to them. But to me, it sounded very real.
Right.
They did not take that as an option. They continued to work. And ultimately, the reason I told you about April 8th is because that night when he transitioned on April 9th, 2015, I realized why people would lose hope, why people would feel like all hope was gone. And so even though I still won't commit suicide, I do have so much compassion for people that think that they have no hope, nothing. And with me, I prayed and I asked God and I begged and I pleaded. I thought of every scripture that I could think of. I had everybody clear the room. I was laying on them. I was asking God and doing everything that I knew. I had witnessed so many miracles, Dr. Lang. So it's like, I know it. I didn't even have any doubt. I knew, listen, you're going to come up out of this. You may be having some paralyzation. I don't know what you're going to have, brain, something, whatever, but you're coming up out of this hospital. I never thought that night I would leave the hospital and my son would spend his first night away from home in that morgue and going to heaven. I never thought that.
Wow.
So what happened is he had sudden cardiac arrest and he had a heart defect where he collapsed and
you had no idea he had it. You had
no idea whatsoever. that he had this heart defect, I tell everybody now that the way to get it corrected is surgically able to be corrected. And the way that it can be corrected is by getting an ultrasound of your heart to
To even
determine
know
what the
that you have it.
then you know you have it. Then they can perform some type of surgical procedure. And yes, you'll have some possible altercations in your, some outcomes where you can't do certain things, but you still will live.
Right.
And in Gabe's case, we didn't get that opportunity because the first sign was that he collapsed, had sudden cardiac arrest, and passed away.
Wow. Now let me tell you, in sports, because working with you on your foundation, because you created Life After Loss, and what a tremendous thing. Let me say, I still feel Gabe's heart when you say the beat, Kim. I mean, your story literally transformed my entire vision of look at all of our youth in sports and how many have done cardiac instant and they died on a court or they died on a field. 1 in 3 is happening now that they're showing, and statistics are very high, even though it's not the norm. But if there's a way to inform parents, wouldn't you want to make that way for them?
Absolutely. And that's why God allows different things to happen through different people, because I've shared this message with people quite a bit. And as a result of it, some parents have officially had their children get an ultrasound through their cardiologist. Now it's not an easy thing where you just go in and say, hey, I want to get an ultrasound on my child's heart. It has to be a reason why you're concerned that your child may have this heart defect and get referred by your primary care physician. The lady that reached out to me and told me that she took advantage of what I shared, she used Gabe as an example, and she was able to get her child checked. And guess what? She said her child did have a heart defect and it was surgically corrected, and she is still here today as a result of that. So, because these mobile defibrillators are not everywhere, they're not in every home or in every school. It's not something you can just immediately go to and get. You have to wait for the paramedics to arrive, and that 12, 13 minutes or whatever could be a huge determination of whether your child or your loved one, whether even if it's an adult that's collapsing, lives or whether they transitions from this earth.
I see we have a lot of comments of people sharing about
Let's go to some of them. Okay, Mackenzie, you can pop some of the comments up, please.
And we want you all to share some of your losses and how you dealt with grief and mourning, because mourning is different. So when we say life after loss, what happened next? Did you go into depression? Did you isolate? Did you think about suicide? Did you lose hope? What happened next for you, Kim?
Okay. Let's take a couple of these comments first, and then we're going to go to a commercial break. I'm kind of still hosting on the side over here. I guess hosting is in my blood. Then we'll come back and we will answer that question. But let's see. You want to read the comments as the host today, or do I need to put my glasses on?
Talking about this, I lost my nephew's son 16 years ago today, and it's still real, Tawanda. I know it's still real. And how do you celebrate your nephew's son? We want to know about that.
Yes, Tawanda.
Celebrate, because in this process, something has to happen. Being a person, like I'm an international grant writer, I raise funds. So when there is loss, I believe in foundations and memorials and setting up awareness of what happened, because sometimes sudden cardiac death, is there a way that we can inform people? What a wonderful thing to do. How do you honor the memory? How do you honor the memory and carry on? She was able, for someone hearing her story, it saved their child. And we got to say it saved them because they went through the procedure. They used this information to help their child, to help their child. That alone, that one person, we know not what they will do as they grow and they become older in life, what their contribution to the world will be. But Gabe lives on in Gabe's Heart Foundation. And we got something great coming up. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how we can support Gabe's Heart Foundation. But then right after your commercial break, we'll talk about what happened, life after loss for you, Kim.
All right, so we'll be right back after this commercial break, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lang, for hosting today.
It's not just enough.
All right, Dr. Lang, thank you for that question right before we went to commercial break. The way that I chose to handle life after loss was, first of all, again, recognizing that my son is somewhere that is where I can personally connect with him again. That was one way that I did it. Also, because that had to be that was the only way I could mentally even think about continuing on. And I had to make a conscious decision that I have people here still on this earth that need me. They need me to be their advocates. They need me to be their cheerleader, and they need me to be present, be here now for them. And so those are my 4 remaining children that are still here physically with me. And so I've shifted a lot of my focus to find out how I could be what they need me to be as mom in this situation. We all grieve differently.
Yes.
And we all mourn differently. And so when going to like the grave site, for example, sometimes there are times when 1 or 2 may not want to get out of the car. And instead of me forcing my type of grief or my type of way of celebrating, I actually do it by being considerate of them to say, what do you want to do in this situation? And if they say, well, I'm not interested in getting out of the car, and they may be in the car just crying or whatever, I honor that. We have days where we will celebrate. We do a birthday celebration for Gabriel on his birthday every year. We get a cake and we get together, we do dinner, and we celebrate him and his life and the time that he spent on this earth. And that's something that we do automatically. Trying to think, we also, I believe it or not, I brought this
in. I love that you said you don't force your grieving on the rest of the family, because we all grieve differently and we all mourn differently. And to be able to respect the other person's process is incredible and definitely necessary. Now, what's that you have there?
You know what? I'm being totally transparent here, because there are sometimes when in the course of my grieving process that I have been in a room of people and I felt just like I was by myself, it's like, and then there are times when I met with my family early on in the very beginning, and I said, listen, if I die from a broken heart, because I didn't even know that was a real thing, but I felt this pain in my heart and it was broken and I could feel the break in my heart. And I was like, Lord, I feel like if I die, I need the family to know that I didn't just die from something physical. I died because my heart itself was broken. And I needed them to know that. So I told my family that. But then I just was going to say there are some things like clothing and different things that I have that maybe just a bag of stuff that I had when Gabe originally transitioned. And it still has his smell. It still has his smell in it. And so I don't do it that often, but my mom recently, she was doing some cleaning and stuff, and I saw some stuff. I was like, wait. Well, you are wash that? Don't wash that. That right there is mine. And it's just some things that I have that are memorabilia, like maybe some sneakers that his brother will wear, or a ring his sister wears that was his. His brother carries his student ID and his portfolio bill. It's just different things and ways that we just kind of keep him with us in our own way,
Yes. So you did something else. You went another step. Tell us about Gabe's Heart Foundation.
and if I'm allowed, before I start about Gabe's Heart Foundation, I do want to acknowledge that I have witnessed people experience loss in their lives, and I've been able to witness how they have dealt with it. On the Kim Jacobs show, I have people that are what I call vision experts,
Yes.
and they have no sight. They are completely blind, but they are on the show, the vision experts. And Camille Richardson is a great example of someone who was born blind, but she's this woman that's full of vision and insight. And I have Phil Walters. He has Phil Walters music. He plays instruments and sings.
Yes, I love Phil.
And he actually has been blind for about 16 years, but he's one of our vision experts. And the other one that I want to say about is Kiwan Amy. He was going to church. He did photography. He was in the military, and he stopped along the road and took a photo of a lake, and he was riding his motorcycle when he did that. Now that's the cover of a book that he wrote called Why Not Me? Because that day he went on his motorcycle, got in an accident that took his sight.
Wow.
So when we say people have experienced loss, there is all types of loss. He was never anticipating his sight being lost, but it is a loss in his life that he cannot go back and change. So he has to live on those memories. And he's done a great job of overcoming. I have Janet Butts is somebody I must mention. She is the Free Indeed Project, where she helps women who've been incarcerated transition back to the world. Well, she had one of the activities of her limbs in a car accident. Her arm was severed. This is like real examples of loss. Dr. Marcia Alston is someone else who dresses. When I say she's a fabulous dresser, and she's also a certified therapist, family therapist. Well, her leg was amputated.
Wow.
She still drives. She goes everywhere and does everything in a flawless manner. And it's just an example of someone having some things happen to them, but not letting that be the determining outcome of their destiny. And so I just wanted to share a few examples.
And it alters, like you said, it's going to bring forth, because everybody cannot overcome. Everybody cannot, as I say, reinvent themselves.
Right.
Because you become someone else when you have a loss. You have to readjust. You have to reinvent. And that's why I go to Gabe's Heart, because that's a way of mourning, but it's a celebratory mourning. It is a way of sharing, and it is a way of enlightening the world. So tell us how you came up with Gabe's Heart Foundation.
So Gabe's Heart, because Gabe, he was considered guardian Gabe at his school. I didn't even realize that until he was passing, that all of these young petite little girls and stuff, young girls were like, you don't know what your son did for me. He was my guardian angel. He helped mediate between those that were bullying us, and they were like some bigger people. And he would come and say, hey, why would you do this to this person? And he helped merge these relationships. He would feed the homeless. He would give to people that he knew had, but they were rich, but he still just wanted them to feel special too. So Gabe had no respecter of person. And what I found out is that from the coroner, that he technically was not supposed to live beyond the womb based on the heart defect that he had. Really, he was named after two angels, Gabriel, Michael, and he walked on this earth. Anybody that ever encountered Gabe knows that I'm not making this up. One young man signed on his guest book that he could not hear, and he was transitioning to his middle school, to Gabe in the new middle school. And he was having a hard time because nobody would communicate with him because they knew he couldn't hear them. Gabe self-taught himself sign language so that he could communicate and welcome this child into his school. And so there are so many stories of Gabriel going to the extreme. If he played football, he would stop the game. First of all, they would check his birth certificate all the time because he was a giant. They were like, this joker, right? That that big beast boy is not no 12 years old.
12 years old.
So he'd have to sit out half the quarter just because they wanted to verify his identity. But he would stop the game if somebody got hurt from him pushing 5 or 6 people down the field like blindside, like Michael Orr type of thing. He would stop the game and make sure. And the coach would be like, "Leave out, come on, Gabe. We don't have time for this." And Gabe like, "Hold on, you got to stop and help the kid up." Gabe's heart was his heart is going to beat forever. So we started Gabe's heart just so that we could keep his heart just keep beating. That was my way of saying, how do I keep this loving legacy who everybody that wrote a card said, "Hi, I'm Kim. Hi, I'm Stacy. Hi, I'm Mackenzie, and I'm Gabe's best friend." I have hundreds of cards where they are all saying, "I'm Gabe's best friend." So we started Gabe's Heart Foundation in honor of him, to be able to spread awareness of sudden cardiac arrest and heart defects, and more importantly, to keep his heart beating through doing random acts of kindness called Doing It Gabe's Way. We get a chance, Dr. Lang, to go into the community and actually around the world, because people are spreading this nationally, to serve people with a card. And we say, "You've just been served with a Doing It Gabe's Way random act of kindness." And we give them gas.
And what is that? Go in the grocery store and
everything, uniforms. We help with medication and with medical expenses. And some people that have had heart procedures, we give funds towards it. It's every single week.
And you're not doing this off of grant money. This is donation and out of pocket.
All donations.
Can you please put how we can help you today? Because we all want to contribute to Gabe's Heart Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, Kim is a really true servant, and this is what you call the give back. So whether it's $1 or $100, click that PayPal, click the Giveify, whatever it is, go to Cash App Gabe's Heart and contribute to what's coming up next, because we have something exciting. Kim, can we talk about the upcoming event we have for Gabe's Heart? And it is fabulous. I want
absolutely
commercial right now, but I want to run a clip on what's happened, because this is the 7th year of celebration.
All right. So you say before the commercial, I will put that clip up and let you see there is what we call Gabe's Heart Foundation annual 5K walk. I'm going to put this is what is Gabe's background, because it's always keeping his heart beating. And every year on the 4th Saturday in September, we do an annual 5K walk. And the 7th annual one is coming up on September 24th. And let me just show you just a clip of one of our previous. Hey, Gabe's Heart Foundation first 5K walk.
Yes.
So excited. Very grateful to God.
Yes, we're excited to be here to support. Absolutely.
This is Lady Lawana Grant, and one of my great friends, and I'm really grateful for her and her family and friends to be here to support this event.
We're here to support the Gabe's Heart Foundation. We're volunteers, and we're enjoying ourselves.
You guys gonna win the race today?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're ready.
She's ready to take off now.
I'm ready. So we're gonna be out here walking, running, praising God, having fun with all the people that are out here. And if you're not here, you should be here.
Gabe's Heart Foundation. We love you, baby.
Please hold on to it, as you will be releasing after the families. So I'll wait for you to go and grab your balloon, please. Head to the right, grab a balloon.
To do it Gabe's way. And that is with a huge heart of love. Love for God, love for people, and love for life.
We want to take a moment to recognize the families who are here, who who share in the loss of the Jacobs family. Their families are here this morning. And as I read their names, we just want to take a moment to recognize them with a moment of silence. Jeremy Jamal Grant. Julia Janae Banks. Hannah Sky Lewis. And Gabriel Michael Jacobs.
We do that each year where we release balloons in honor of other children that have also transitioned to be with the Lord.
Now everyone,
and their
please join me in a
families.
collective show of support for each of these children and their families by releasing your balloons. Thank you. You ready? All right, at the sound of this horn, we're gonna go. 3, 2, 1.
I'm so tired.
We do have space for strollers as well. We keep a lane open for it.
Pastor, how does it feel to be out here today on the day celebrating your son's life and what he was about?
It's very exciting. I mean, it's just a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day for our family. It's a beautiful day for everybody who's here to support, and also for their loved ones that have gone on. It's a beautiful day, and to really help people focus on anti-bullying and also feeding people who are hungry. It's two great worthy causes that Gabe was very motivated about. And so it's just exciting to see how this thing all came together. For the first one, this is just wonderful. And we'll just continue to try to make sure we raise the awareness on anti-bullying. And we also raise the awareness on feeding hungry.
Fantastic.
All right.
Appreciate it, sir.
God bless you.
Gabriel, this is all for you. I ran 3.2 miles. I'm about to walk the rest, and I just want to give honor to you. And I miss you, and it was a great occasion.
I'm just so happy to be out here and to see so many people respond in this way, to pay homage and remember Gabe and all the other families and children who are part of our memory this morning. We couldn't have better weather. We couldn't have a better turnout. It's good to see everyone's smiling faces. And on behalf of WCNC, we thank you for allowing us to be a part of this as well.
All right, everyone. So that gives you, I mean, it's a lot more. It's a whole video. So
incredible. Now, Kim, I just got to say, what is Charlene saying? Try to find something different other than balloon release.
Okay.
I understand. Okay, Charlene.
Charlene, that is a great comment. Thank you, because I didn't even know that. So please, and I love wildlife and I love everybody. I love every being. So what we'll do is try to come up with something a little more creative. And so thank you for that comment. That's very important.
You can even send some ideas. We always welcome new ideas, new volunteers, and new information. Absolutely love this testimony and legacy.
Thank you,
proud of
Julia.
you, Mama. God is so good. Yes, God is good. Let me tell you, I got to ask you, Kim, because it's a lot putting together a 5K. I mean, you have T-shirts, you have something other than balloons, possibly, and other ways to acknowledge the families, not just our family and our immediate families, but all the families that are able to come out and we can recognize. We want to be able to continue, and this year being the 7th annual 5K Gabe Hart run, or walk.
Some people run. We actually, let me address that. We have some people that come and they are serious. They're getting their times for some of the larger marathons. So we leave some specific lanes open for them. So on Saturday, September 24th. We'll put the details. I'll put the address and everything here for you at the Northwest Cabarrus Middle School in Concord, North Carolina. That's where we're going to have the physical walk. But if you are wanting to walk and you want to register and be a part of it virtually, let us know that too, and we'll get you a link so you can still register, and we'll make sure you can get a link and participate from wherever you are, or you can send in video clips and hashtag Gabe's Heart Foundation, or any ways for you to feel like you still participated virtually some kind of way. People have sent videos, they've sent photos and hashtag the 5K walk and everything, and they still participate.
Anywhere in the world, they can participate.
Anywhere in the world, yes, virtually.
Yes. And so you see the opportunity for you to support and give to Gabe's Heart Foundation, and especially for this upcoming event. Now, I told Kim, look, Kim, a lot of people love you and a lot of people you've helped. So we got to be able to allow them to help you in this process, because that's how we win. Collaboration, being able to share with others. Thank you, Stacy people.
Huge bubbles. Oh, I love it.
Yes, the bubbles are phenomenal, especially you can pull them around.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do bubbles. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. You can have balloons, just don't let them loose. Can be reworked as how far is away. Okay. Thank you. I love all of the ideas. Let me put this up too, Stacy. I love the cause. Awesome. Here's where people can go to Gabe's Heart Foundation.org, and I'll put that large for you to see right on the home page, Gabe's Heart Foundation.org. You can go ahead and click if you just want to donate. There's a donate now button there, or you want to register. You can click on the register here, and what it will do is it will take you to where you will officially register for the 5K walk, and $20 for the t-shirt, and for youth t-shirts is $15. And if you are looking to sponsor this year's event as well, then you would just go right where it says to our phenomenal 2022 sponsors, download the package here, and there is a sponsor package with different options that are available for the sponsors.
Awesome. Totally awesome. So in life after loss, what was your biggest win here, Kim? What was the biggest thing that helped you keep going?
The biggest thing that helped me keep going is the fact that I have God on my side, and I know that He is going to continue to guide me to be everything that He created me to be, to represent Gabe. So Gabe will never die in that regard. He will always be alive in the minds and hearts of everyone, because we're going to always be doing it Gabe's way. And another big thing for me is knowing that my children needed me here on this earth. And what a beautiful thing. I have now a son at UNC Chapel Hill in his senior year, a son in his junior year at UNC Charlotte, a son that is 17 and homeschooled and a lifeguard and on his acting mission, and a daughter that's still here that's at her charter school, and she's made the volleyball team, and she's also
writing journals and books.
Right. Yeah. She's in magazines and working at Chick-fil-A at 14. So these children, they needed me to be here to advocate for them. 3 of my children have cystic fibrosis, and they fight that battle every day. And 2 of them didn't even find out until Gabe passed away. So it was because of Gabe's death that 2 of my children ended up finding out that they even had CF. So
now, I gotta say, we acknowledging all the people, but Kim, what are we doing for you? Are you taking care of Kim?
The things that I do for me is I give myself grace and mercy to know that God knew me before He even formed me in my mother's womb. He knew Gabe. He knew all of my children. He knew what we would experience on this journey called life. And so I get rest. My mom, oh my gosh, I have to mention my mom. she uprooted her whole life. And I never would have thought I was going to even be around my mom as an adult. Once you grow up and go to college and go on in life, you think that's pretty much, I'll see you on once a month or whatever. My mom uprooted her life to come and be a part of my life, to help me and my family on this journey. And so I could not ask for a better mother on this in this process that we've had to experience. But I go to the movies, I get my nails done, get my hair done. I read. I'm a heavy avid reader, so I'm forever listening to books and listening to motivational things. And then by doing the show, the Kim Jacobs Show, every day, I did that kind of intentionally because it keeps me thinking about something else sometimes too.
Yeah, self-care is so important when you're going through grief and loss and transformation. Self-care. We got to pause just for ourselves, and leading with God, our source, our provider, knowing where we come from, going back to the foundation. Kim, we applaud you, and we want to thank you for being willing, ready, and able to carry on, because we know you didn't have to. You didn't have to. You made a conscious choice to live out loud and to live beyond the loss.
Wow.
Can we agree?
I first of all, I'm grateful that I encountered you. And I do want people to know, even though I know you're interviewing today, I do want people to know that Dr. Stacey Lang is the person that's behind the mission of making sure that we do get some funding for Gabe's Heart Foundation. And she's not just committed to Gabe's Heart's cause, but also to your cause. So if you have a nonprofit organization, I'm now back at host mode. If you have a nonprofit organization or a for-profit organization, and you like to talk with her one-on-one and find out what can happen for your organization, there's no competition in this thing called life, in my opinion. I would never keep something or someone a secret that could be a blessing in your life. Go to Dr. Lang at smartpeoplenetwork.com. Dr. Lang at smartpeoplenetwork.com. Don't miss that opportunity to have your organization's mission literally thrive financially as well.
I give the mic back to you. And again, thank all of your listening audience. Do not miss the opportunity to contribute to Gabe's Heart. Let that be the seed that you sow today. No matter where you are, it comes back pressed down, shaken together, immeasurable, 100-fold. So make sure that you contribute to Gabe's Heart's mission and become aware and share this mission today. Thank you so much, Kim, for allowing me to interview you and being here today on the Kim Jacobs Show.
You did a phenomenal job interviewing me today. I am usually, I have a hard time relinquishing the mic in this regard, but I'm honored, and I think you did a very gracious and grateful job. I do want to say that this is not something, my life that I have is not something that I want to get over or get past. This is just something that I live with, and I'm going to take every aspect and every opportunity to continue to let Gabe's heart continue to beat. I do want to take a quick commercial break, and then we're about to end anyway, but I do want to go back to a few more of the studio audience comments before we formally end. If you know that you are giving to Gabe's Heart Foundation today, definitely put hashtag Gabe's Heart Foundation. Say, I gave, I'm giving, I'm all in, I'm coming to the walk, I'm spreading the word. Say something in the comment sections. We're going to come back and see some of those comments right after this commercial break. We'll be right back. Mackenzie, like, what? How are we going to a break whenever it's about time to end? Go to Attorney Everidge's commercial. Mackenzie, I got to get my sponsor in there. So go ahead and go to that commercial. She can't go to it because I'm on a whole different brand and it's throwing her off back there. Hold on. Let me go. And there we go, Mackenzie. I'm sorry. You're like, this is not part of my training. Okay. We'll be right back, everybody.
When someone has lost a loved one, they want to know what exactly happened. They want to know, is the other person going to be held responsible? And they want closure. At Hunter and Everett, we help clients that have lost a loved one move on, and to do that with dignity and respect that they deserve.
All right, and we are back, and I do want to pop some of these comments up of some of the people that are giving as well, and let's just give a thank you to some of them. Let's see. Amen. God is your source and strength. God is my only main source and strength, and He definitely gives me people that are around me that undergird and lift me up. Yes. Great questions. She is so much to so many. Oh, thank you, Nikki Cole. And she wrote an outstanding book as well. Check her book out, Supermom. Nikki, I will say this as far as a supermom, when people ask me how do I balance it all and things, I don't balance everything by myself. I have people that help me and that really do believe in what I'm dealing with, and they go to extremes to help me, and I appreciate that. Okay, any other comments? All right, let's see a few more. Any others? All right, I see Fabulous, my sister and neighbor. Thank you so much for sharing so freely. Thank you, Pamela. I had a promise of a child. I had to keep going. I found out I was pregnant by God saying to me, a son for a son. So I'm pouring into my son daily. Grateful that I had my nephew for the time that I had him. And I'm praying that all of your dreams become a reality, Tawanda, whatever God's promise is to you. I admire your strength. God bless you, Lily said. God bless you. And I think that's coming from Cassandra, who's one of our show team members as well. And she's also the pastor's wife at Servant Church. And they're kicking off their church in the Charlotte, North Carolina area very soon. So you definitely want to visit Servant Church. And if you look up hashtag Servant Church, you'll learn more about them. Oh, hey, I see you said, hey, Servant Church is giving to Gabe's heart. And Servant Church, the pastors, Pastor Selwyn Davis and Lady Cassandra Davis. So please make sure they do have a servant's heart, and they have been a part of Gabe's Heart Foundation from the foundation. Every year they have been there with their family, and they have a special needs child as well. And it doesn't matter. They wrap him and bundle him up, and they bring him on out to the walk at 8:00 a.m. They help with all of the preparation for everything that happens with Gabe's Heart. They do our flyers and make sure that we have our marketing materials ready. So thank you, Pastor Selwyn and Lady Cassandra Davis. You make a difference. And Sean Hall, I want to make sure I thank her. She's on our board of directors and has always been very supportive of Gabe's Heart. And I can't thank these people enough. The same with Dr. Roberta Jones, who has helped us with our 501c3. And let me be clear that the 501c3, the IRS, what they did was Secretary of State. Anyway, the point is what they did was they made it retroactive to the date that Gabe passed away.
Wow.
And that is unheard of.
Favor.
God's favor. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. T-shirt ready? Okay, you ready? You ready for that t-shirt? Okay. And the t-shirt, whenever you do download the sponsorship package, if you want your logo put on the back of the t-shirt, that's what process we're in right now. So go ahead and urgently download that sponsor package, determine which one you're going to be at, and we'll make sure that you're featured on the t-shirt and the banner.
I was just going to say, put the site back up. So thank you for that.
Okay. And let's see, with you always, even if it's virtually. Thank you, Julia. Julia is a mighty woman of God. And she also experienced loss with her child as well. So I'm so honored to have you on today. And again, I know you share my philosophy that they're not lost, L-O-S-T, just we may have experienced some loss. Okay. And for everybody that's experienced other kinds of loss, like I had jobs, you've retired, you may be going through a divorce, or you are divorced, or abused, homeless. It's a lot of different types of loss that people experience. I want you to know that that does not define the outcome of your life. God has a purpose for you. He has a plan for your life, and He knows the outcome. And the plans for your life are good. They're not evil. So even though it looks like a bad situation now, At the end of the day, God has something in store for you that you know not of. So sit tight and still keep moving in a positive way and have the love of God on the inside of our hearts towards everybody, no matter what they've done. And I've had lots of betrayal in my life, and I rebuke it. It doesn't mean I hang out with the people anymore, but I do still have love for each of those individuals because I love people with the love of Christ. And I ask God to forgive the situation and to let us all go on in our lives to have the best possible outcome for our lives. Okay.
And we know that it doesn't always happen to us. Sometimes it happens through us. For
Right.
us to be able to keep going on, and being an example for who knows who right now is being impacted by this opportunity. I know Kim will give us another opportunity because some people are grieving and mourning right now, and we want to be able to support you in that. Some people right now are thinking, wow, can I start a foundation? How can I help? How can I be a part of this? This is the first step. Click one of the links, be a contributor to Gabe's Heart, and let's talk about how we can get your legacy in place as well.
Absolutely.
Can we come back and have another talk about those who are grieving and mourning and want to understand what life after loss, LOSS, is really about?
Absolutely. All right. So I think we've done as much as we can on today's episode. Instead of just a traditional closeout, Mackenzie, I'm going to go back one more time and I'm going to close out this way. And that way people will be able to see a little bit more about Gabe as we come to a close. So you don't have to click any of the buttons, Mackenzie, backstage. Thank you for being backstage. Thank you, Dr. Lang, for letting God use you today and to be able to offer your gift to the world. Please tell people how they can stay connected with you one more time.
Please just send an email over to Dr. Lang, DRLANG, at smartpeoplenetwork.com. Dr. Lang at smartpeoplenetwork.com. It actually goes directly to me, so I'll be able to communicate and correspond with you directly.
Okay. And then if people want to donate to Gabe's Heart Foundation, let them know how they can do that as well.
Absolutely. You must go to gabesheartfoundation.org. Get the sponsorship package. Get your brand on the back of the t-shirts. I mean, it's international. The Kim Jacobs Show is everywhere, and you want your brand there too to show your support and love. Then also go to Cash App, Gabe's Heart. You got to do it. You don't have Cash App? PayPal is available, and Giveify. We are here for you, and we want you to be a part of this legacy that we're building, because one day it'll be your legacy here, and we want to be able to support you as well. So show some love for Gabe's Heart. We're looking forward to seeing you and acknowledging you as one of our sponsors and contributors to Gabe's Heart Foundation. Thank you so much in advance.
Thank you. And when she mentioned the Kim Jacobs Show, one of the sponsorship package options is for you to come on and do a segment on the Kim Jacobs Show. And it streams in multiple, like in millions of households on different platforms. So
about how many million, Kim? Tell them to reach.
Okay, well, it's different on each platform. If it's on Les Brown's Facebook page, then he has about 4 million or so that are there, and you're getting over on that reach. CTR Media Network streams in over 200 million households, and we are a part of CTR Media Network.com, the Kim Jacobs Show. And then we also are literally a part of Believe in Your Dreams Network. And so if you're watching that, it's in 300 million households worldwide. And then on multiple other platforms, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it, Twitter, we're in a variety of those as well, YouTube also. So you will get extensive reach by being one of the sponsors on the Gabe's Heart Foundation platform.
Unheard of reach. It's astronomical reach. So you definitely want to, it's always the give back, but that's a way that Kim has come up to give back to her supporters. So I'm super excited about it.
Okay. So, and it's going to be Saturday, September 24th at 8:00 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you go to Gabe's Heart Foundation you will be able to get all of the details and you can donate and start registering. Thank you all so much for being here today. And let me go ahead and play just this little bit of a clip to let you learn more about Gabe as we close out. It was one of his birthday memorial videos. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Hello, and welcome to the Rock Report. I'm Gabriel Jacobs, and this is what's going on at our Rock.
Get him, Gabe.
Number 22 of the Dolphins on the carry.
It's a 10-year-old? He already looks like he's in the NFL.
Third down.
And look how confident he's walking. Go, Gabe.
September 15, 2013. My name is Gabriel Jacobs, and I'm here to tell you about Tampa Bay. Today I would like to talk about their game. They're playing good on their game right now, but they need to strategize more. Like, they keep trying to get a touchdown instead of trying to go for their main point. Their main point should try to be getting a first down. You gotta worry about that first and then try to get a touchdown.
Don't let this little joker right here fool you. He had one of the best hits. Dude thought he was gonna run him over. Pow, he put him down. I saw that. Y'all know this big boy right here, Diesel. This joker be in the room. Nice spread for these players and for the coaches. And then what we're also gonna do is, because they finished number 4 in the nation, we're gonna sponsor their trophies. Sponsor their trophies because you guys work so hard with these kids.
So my 2 champions, congratulations, both of you placed in Science Fair 2011. I'm proud of you guys. Please lead us in a word of prayer.
Lord, in Jesus, thank you for allowing us all to be able to come out tonight or today and have.
What I remember about Gabe is that he always had a smile on his face, and he would never let that smile go off his face.
We both played football, though not for the same team. So I had fun playing football with him.
Met Gabe through his cousins Cindy and Jazara, and I met them at my after school, and one time they picked them up, and it was just funny how he comes in with laughter and stuff. He would always make me and my friends laugh and stuff. He always stood up for other children because he thought it was the right thing to do. And then he would never want anyone to bully anyone because he really didn't like that.
The theme of Gabe's Heart Foundation is Just Keep Beating. And the reason that we chose that theme is because we want Gabe's heart to keep beating in the hearts of other children and adults that are just like him. Those that will go out of their way to help people and give of themselves selflessly. Gabriel had an impact on every single person that he met, no matter whether he knew them or not. He loved everyone, and he personally went out of his way to make sure that everyone felt special.